locked in. What's good, everybody? I'm gonna give a few minutes and give some people some time to go ahead and start hopping in the live stream. Posted. All right, man. Got the chat filling up. Cool, cool. I want to welcome y'all to the Kingdom Podcast. Your boy Royalty Trades tapping in for the weekend. And what we're gonna do today is we're gonna do our best to break down, the previous week in the market and give you guys some insight and some thoughts on, what we think and what's, to come next week. So it's just a group of friends, chopping it up. This is not financial advice. So, anything that we talk about tonight, make sure you do your due diligence. Um, and you check it out yourself before taking your hard earned money and investing it into a company that you heard about on YouTube. So um, let's get to it. I'm Royalty Trades. I love to do the charts and everything. I hope, the pre-market analysis, if you follow me on After Hours or if you're in the Kingdom Discord, I hope it helps you out. Tonight, we got your boy Fridge Financials. Fridge, how you feeling, man?
Feeling great, man. Another week in the books. Looking at opening up some new trades this week. I got a lot of love recently on my last video I made on YouTube, so about selling options. So I'm excited to keep it going here. Just the grind. We got some snow coming down here up in the northeast part of the country. So looking forward to not doing anything next couple of days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. We also got my boy from Quant Data, and a homie of mine. We got Apple Bottom Jeans, aka ABJ. How you feeling, man?
Hey man, thanks for having me on. It's super cold here in Canada, but I hear you guys are suffering down there too, so it makes me feel a little better. Ready to take on the market this week and get some revenge trading going on. Make back what happened to me on Friday. What happened to a lot of us. I know a lot of us got defeated, and so we're ready to showcase what we have and see what ideas we come up with.
Oh man, you said the keyword revenge trading, man. You know how they can go sometimes.
I said it on
I,
purpose.
I think we've all had that feeling before when it comes to revenge trade. You just knew the trade was gonna work out perfectly, and you start losing more than what you wanted to. You're gonna do something to try to get that money back. So
Hundred
that
percent, 100%.
um, I don't think trying to make it. You ain't here yet, man. I think he's still setting up. So we'll go ahead and lock in. And we'll look at some charts. Uh, all right. Um, Anybody that's in the live stream, just let me know. Can y'all see my charts good?
Yep, crystal clear for me.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
looks good for
Cool.
me too.
All right. So, as you guys know, we had a very very wild week this past week. Couple of earnings that we had, AMD, Amazon. I was surprised Amazon felt like it did. What you think, man? What y'all think?
Um, I think not all the earnings is going to be great. I think Amazon has a little bit of struggling to go, but from what I've seen for Mag 7, nonetheless, is that every time Mag 7 experiences bad earnings, people are more than willing to buy it up. And I know earnings is always it almost seems like gambling, right? Because we can never really know, even based on data and order flow. It's really hard to tell what the earnings announcement is going to be. But again, from what we can see, any Mag 7 ticker as of right now, the bad earnings or not, people are willing to buy it back. So I don't think there's anything too much to worry about. What about you, Fridge?
Yeah, man. I mean, watching earnings reports, I mean, there wasn't like any like really crazy surprise misses from the Mag 7s from what I remember. The one that was interesting for me last week was, or I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but AMD had like I heard killer earnings and then just like
Man,
sold off and then it just kept selling off. So I opened up a position literally yesterday at the end of the market close, just to kind of be like how could you have killer earnings? It's crazy how like they had like an unbelievable earnings, not even a Mag 7 play, but a crazy good earnings report, and then still the market was like, nope, don't like him. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna hop in there. Premiums were pretty high after that for the nice sell off there. So hopefully gonna make some nice income this week on it. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody's still buying it up. I think small little dips in the market, everyone loves it, especially for Mag 7s, especially. Yeah, AMD chart is crazy. I don't like it.
yeah,
It's like just straight dropping.
I've been looking at AMD charts and like I have 92, 91 marked out, and that's just kind of like my bottom that I'm kind of watching over here because I see some support and I see some resistance. So I'm hoping it's kind of like a gridlock around this $92 dollar range. So anything below 92, I think is an automatic buy, honestly, because I like I said, I'm not big on the financials or whatever, but um I still see the chips and stuff in computers and everything like that. So I don't know. I think last year I seen it start decoupling from Nvidia at some point in time. So once I saw that, AMD just started trading very, very differently ever since then.
Mhm.
Like it almost looks like Nvidia chart, but inverse.
Just as long as it doesn't look like Intel, I'll be okay with AMD.
Right, man. Intel doesn't move, man. It just trades in a sideways range.
Exactly. It's one of the worst ones to be. I feel really bad for long termers who kind of invested in Intel and then missed out on Apple and Nvidia and those other
Mhm.
tickers. I actually know someone personally that just continued buying Intel all the way. I mean, until now, it's just it never came back. It's still really, I mean, yeah, you're looking at the chart right now. This is bad. I don't really think it's going to recover.
You don't
I
think
think it's one of
so?
those things.
Is I mean, and it was even in that range for a while. If we looking at the weekly chart, like it it held on to this range for a good while, and then it's almost like it's back. Well, it's not really back stuck in it, but yeah, it's more so within this $17 support level. What 17 to 19 support level. But I don't know. I don't think that it's gonna be. I wouldn't buy it, spend my money into it. But let me jump back to the spy that easily. We could talk all day about individual companies, but um, the spy was a wild move that we saw. Previous week we saw all time highs, but the biggest thing with me was okay. This is one week we seen a major gap down, and then the following week after that we see another gap down. I'm wondering, what will we possibly see Monday that could cause the market to gap down again? I mean, the tariff news was announced Friday, so do y'all
Mhm.
think we have anything to worry about over the weekend?
You never know.
Yeah, it's really, with the Trump administration, I'm not sure how many of you guys in the audience have traded when it was his era, and Myself, I can't really say I was that active as well. I'm only 6 years into the market here, but from what I've heard, it really is a seller's market, right? If you're someone willing to collect credit,
Yeah,
if you're someone willing to do put credit spreads, call credit spreads, iron condors, broken wing butterflies, and those kind of complex option strategies, you really got rewarded for that much more. You had a lot more probabilistically like winning trades, basically. If
yeah,
you're looking to long contract, like long calls and long puts, you have to be so precise that, for example, if you're looking at the chart right there, that those two big gaps over the weekend is really hard to capitalize on.
yeah,
We didn't even see it in terms of for that Sunday specifically, where your mouse is right now. Actually didn't even see that come through in the order flow or deltas. It actually just looked like a bunch of people got wiped out, and dealers and big whales, big participants had to reorganize their portfolios to buy it back up, right back to where we want to be, which is above 6,000.
yeah,
But again, with that being said, like if you were willing to sell puts on that Monday, you actually had a much easier time than if you were to swing calls.
yeah. Well, as of right now, my thoughts on it, as far as like, what to expect Monday. I said that since that news came out Friday, with the tariffs and everything, I'm hoping that we kind of see a like a muted open on on Monday and kind of see this flat and then let the market decide what it wants to do from there. But trying to trade up into this, these two supply levels, it being exhausted once it traded above 607 here. We broke it, but it didn't really have any new buyers except this little spot right here, and we still sold off, dramatically, even where we had some buyers stepped in. And so once that Monday opened up and we opened down here, I thought we was gonna continue to at least make it to the top, maybe here where they figured that you know that buyers would start stepping in, but I mean, immediately, probably about 30 minutes into the market, we saw it rip back up and kind of repeat the following week scenario where it was a choppy movement up, but it finally filled. We kind of seen this more aggressively, but um, that was just crazy. That was that mountaintop right there, and then just a dramatic sell off. That was wild even for me, even though I knew that eventually, well, I told my group that eventually we was gonna come back down and retest the support level, but I didn't expect it to fall this hard. So my thoughts are kind of neutral right now. And maybe thinking that we get a flat open because Bitcoin's kind of trading sideways. And so as long as it's trading sideways, that lets me know that it's not too much going on to just tank it. I kind of use Bitcoin as an early indicator. And
I mean,
if it's
here's what my logic is for it, right? Sorry, Royalty. So my logic also I'm looking at is, um, you look at the economic calendar coming up. Monday has nothing like really impacting on the market. Tuesday, you have Jerome Powell testifying. Wednesday, you have CPI data. Thursday, you have PPI data. Friday, you have retail sales. Like, there's a lot of heavy hitter inflationary measures coming in Tuesday through Friday, through the
yeah,
speaking, through the data coming out and stuff like that. I'm thinking that a lot of people are kind of just going to sit on the sidelines possibly Monday morning because I mean, it's going to get some volatility between Tuesday to Friday. Like it's this heavy hitter after heavy hitter of data coming in, and people are really starting to wonder what is the Fed going to start to think about what's going to happen in terms of the new administration. I think also the idea behind it is that we were used to having Biden in office, who wasn't one of those like aggressive, pull the trigger on every single thing. Now the market's like trying to figure out like, okay, Trump's calling this, he's executive ordering this. Now what's going to happen? So I think as the time and the presidency goes on, I think the market starts to kind of get used to like that kind of ideas of anything can happen. But right now we're just so new and not accustomed to it yet. I think that's where we're at. So I'm thinking, like you're saying, I'm thinking if Bitcoin's going, sideways right now, I'm thinking we got a lot of major things coming up Tuesday through Friday. So I wouldn't be surprised if, the markets are like up 1/10%, down 5 or 0.05%, whatever it is. I wouldn't
So
be surprised if it was like a relatively flat day.
so first, let me ask you something. Then I
Mm.
got we've been looking for this level down to 582 on spot to get filled. For I'll say 2 weeks. Do we have any type of movers in your opinion that could completely get us to retrace back down to these bigger levels?
I
Like,
mean, 2 weeks. I mean, you're looking about like 2 weeks out. Let me see
yeah,
if there's anything else because I'm kind of looking to see. Like, so I always like to look at like the Bloomberg calendar to kind of see if there's anything crazy. Like I said, the Jerome Powell testify will be interesting because he's going to be talking about things that he notices. And they're going to be asking. And again, whenever he testifies, you always see those memes where it's like the minute he says good afternoon, the market drops like 5% or whatever it is. Like there are always
yeah.
some funny memes about it. I think that's going to be a huge one for sure. I'm trying to see if there's anything else coming up in the next 2 weeks. Manufacturing data, nothing really. Home sales, eh. I mean, I'm thinking like this week is probably going to be. There's not a lot coming up next week, honestly, after this one. So I'm thinking heavy hitters are going to be PPI data, CPI data this week. If you get 3 days of just sadness and fear from the Fed and from inflation data reports,
Yeah.
you're probably going to see that kind of drawback down. If CPI comes in better than expected, PPI follows suit with it. You might see a little bit of a relief rally possibly from it, a little bit of a market go up by towards the end of the week, especially. Um, I'm thinking like this week, between the next 2 weeks, I'm thinking this week's gonna be the worst one for the stock market if I was to predict it.
Okay. Okay. I don't know how many people in the chat, if you were trading during the last Trump era, I don't know, let us know in the comments. But man, trading under the Trump era, I remember the whole pandemic issue. And I think it started off when, a cruise ship or something they was holding them out and they wasn't letting them come in or something like that. Um, and then finally when it was announced that we were going on lockdown, like the market just flatlined. It just flatlined. So, I always I kind of think at times history kind of repeats itself or patterns reveal themselves. They don't veer off too far from each other. But I wouldn't be surprised if we did see, something, not saying another pandemic or nothing, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see another flatline um, during his era, and then the numbers are gonna look better when his term is over because the market tanked, so it didn't have anywhere but back up to go. If that makes sense.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely think it's definitely a possibility for it to be flatline because again, like I think even for even in the first maybe year of this term that he has, he's being more aggressive than he was in his first presidential term. I know he had tariffs back when he was first elected into office, but not nearly as much as what he has now. Like he's got a higher percent tariffs coming in now that he wants to push through and everything. I think it's just the same thing. I think we talked about this last week. The market's in just like a just who the heck knows momentum right now, and as more time goes by, the market can kind of gate that direction, but it might take a year for the market to be used to it compared to 2 months, 3 months. So you might see that stagnant kind of trading sideways for the foreseeable future until they really start to understand what his intentions are, what he's trying to do, and how the economy is going to be impacted by it.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Hey, ABJ, y'all haven't seen any type of crazy put data on anything that just kind of draw attention to?
Not yet. I really like this banter that you guys have going on. This is actually how real traders kind of navigate the market, right? And this
Right.
is the importance of working together as retail traders to kind of figure out like who has the best idea, and then we learn from everyone, and I
Right.
love it. In
Right.
terms of what I'm seeing from data wise, what I've found so far is I follow deltas, and from what I've seen so far is that February continues to have all the long deltas roll into March. So that kind of tells me that the market's a little bit less risk on from now until the OPEX of February, so February 21st. And they're still looking to There's still risk on though from March onwards into December. With
Right.
December having a significantly higher delta. And so I'm keeping a very close eye on like if we do tank, do people continue to buy the dip, or do they finally get rid of all the long deltas and actually become short? I love looking at the charts and here and there. I think I don't use charts and candles as much as you guys do, but
Right.
I like seeing where people are willing to put on risk via options, right? Because we understand generally in the New York session, options is actually what dominates price action, right?
Right.
It's the one that can give us an idea of who's willing to put more risk on than not. For example, with the S&P, right? Again, March is where all the long deltas are now. They used to be in February, but the fact that they rolled it forward tells us that they're just not risky. They're not risk on for Feb, but they're risk on for March. They're still willing to be. Some individual tickers that I've actually been really interested in that might lead to a forceful rally, right? Because sometimes when we see, I know you guys know this, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? That kind of scenario, and a tsunami sinks all boats.
Right.
There's individual tickers right now that are quite strong. So Nvidia, right? Every time Nvidia has dipped, it has rallied really strong to come back. The same thing is sort of true right now for Tesla. Tesla is one that I'm speculating a lot. Now I don't know if if Tesla itself can carry the rest of the market, but
Right.
if what we see for March comes fruition, which is 450 on Tesla, that I believe would carry the market up because that would be an overwhelming force to come from where we are now on Tesla, which is we're like what 370, 360 to
Right.
return.
361.
Yeah, to return upwards of 40, of 400, and then go to 450 would be crazy. So why I'm speculating this, and I'm not on my desk. Um, I'll post pictures here later, but there's actually an insane amount of long deltas for 450 March 21st.
Hey, and then
And again, I
I
don't.
got the chart pulled up, and it's a like a small level of supply that's unfilled between 450 and 452.93. Well, 453. So it's definitely like that magnet. That magnet can happen to where prices just start driving. Because I mean, right now it's just kind of in a downward trend, but eventually it's gonna break out, and when it does, it looks like that breakout price may be around like 402. So I mean, I'll start looking for that breakout of a trend of a downtrend around like 402, 403, and it should be like straight running from there.
I'm speculating probably like the beginning of March, potentially maybe the last week of February for this to actually come to fruition. From
Yeah,
what I'm seeing in terms of the deltas and gamma levels, 400 all the way into 450 is like green light from there. So until Tesla continues to do its thing, I'm more than happy to sell puts. I know some of you guys do put credit spreads, but selling puts below 300 for March 21st has been ridiculously free. I can say that much. Like it's almost free money when you sell puts below 300. You can actually get away with selling puts at 290 for a decent amount of risk.
hey,
And whenever we reach 400, if we do reach 400, that's actually the point where I'm willing to see if I'm willing to go also long calls for 450 and take on cues as well.
yeah,
Um, Potentially maybe seeing that rally return. Now, again, I don't know if Tesla itself can bring the entire market back up like Nvidia does, but I think the sentiment is if Tesla is the lone wolf in it, we might get a rising tide scenario.
yeah. It's crazy. Like I'm looking at Tesla about the time that he just everybody realized that Elon and Trump was just gonna be buddy buddy. Bro, the market just went straight parabolic with Tesla from that look like 330 level to all the way up to like this 488 almost 500 level. It just went parabolic in the span of maybe like 2 weeks. And that was I just think that was crazy. It's like almost It seems like that's what Palantir is trying to do. Just just go parabolic and it's catching up with itself.
Yeah, I Palantir is a crazy one-off. Probably like BBAI as well. That's probably another one-off that's coming. We saw quantum computing and that sector, that new sector entirely go up as well. And now it's just kaput. But I think there's going to be a time and place when an everything rally does happen again. I don't think we're out of the woods
Yeah,
by all means. March still looks good to me. I know Fridge mentioned all these economic data points coming in this week. We might look for more opportunities, but my personal sentiment and the way that I've navigated the market so far this year is, and actually all of last year, is to continue to sell puts and look for opportunities to go long.
yeah, and that's coming along pretty good. Like that's probably one area that I really just don't really get into. I guess because I just haven't taken the time to just really jump into it since calls and puts, just regular options been my thing. I'm gonna have to look more into that.
Hey man, anytime. I know Fridge does it too, right? Fridge is
Yeah,
a credit seller.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've been selling. Now I'm like selling puts like weekly. Like I did it on Nvidia last week. Now my new one for this week's AMD. I have in my long-term portfolio, I have over 100 shares of SPY, so I'm selling covered calls on SPY. And what I've been basically what my strategy has been to do, because I want to hold those shares long term, is sell a covered call at a strike price. We get some kind of crazy market rally. If I got to roll the position out farther, I'll roll it out like a week. Thankfully, since SPY is so liquid, I can roll it out, a day, couple days, couple weeks, whatever. Still get some nice premiums for it. Because at the end of the day, if I get assigned, if I have to, sell those shares off, I got to pay those capital gains taxes. I'm not trying to do that right now. So, I don't mind rolling them out a little bit, but so far it's nice. The next couple $100 every, a couple weeks in the portfolio. I have a lot of cash on the sidelines right now, waiting to see for another big move. Hopefully in the markets. Obviously, it's that thing we always talk about where time in the market versus timing the market is a whole different situation, but I'm not really in a rush right now to get back into more positions yet, but I'm kind of just selling options right now to kind of just make a little bit of passive income, use that money, buy more shares up, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's simple, it's effective. And then worst case scenario, it's like, oh no, I sold my shares at a profit. It's like, oh man, what a problem to have. So it's a lot less hands-on risk for me, and it's a lot less like just sit back, let it do its thing, see what happens. And it's worked out nicely so far. For me, it's been a lot easier for sure.
yeah. Well, I know that you posted a video probably a couple of days ago on the wheel strategy that you've been using pretty lately. So you wanna fill us in on that?
Yeah, Will Strategy, and I'm sure Bob Jeans probably knows. Seems like he sells options too, so he probably has somewhat familiarity with it. But yeah, it's you sell cash secured puts on any kind of stock that you want to open up a position with or reduce your cost basis down with. And it's called cash secured, obviously, because you need to have the cash available in case you get assigned those shares. So instead of being the market buyer, you're the market seller. My analogy is that you're basically like in a casino, like you selling options is more of the house edge compared to the player. So it has more chance of it going in your favor usually. And so, yeah, so basically what you do is you look for a strike price. You don't mind buying it. So if you want Nvidia at like 110, you want Palantir at like 90, you'd sell a cash secured put against it. That stock goes into the money. You get forced to buy the shares. But if you really love the stock and you're convicted by it, you're not really too bummed out. You basically just bought it at a cheaper price than everybody else probably, which definitely makes it better. And then once you own those 100 shares, you start selling covered calls against it as well. Once you start selling covered calls, same thing. Once you hit a certain strike price, you sell it up, and if it hits strike price, then you cash it out, and then you just go back to cash your puts. And it's called the wheel because you're kind of just going around and around and around and around and around over and over again. So it's basically the idea is to just sell puts, sell puts, get assigned, then sell calls. Then you get those sent away at some point, and then you go back to it again and again. So it's the wheel strategy because you just keep going in a circle essentially. Um,
Got you.
yeah, it's kind of the idea behind it. So it definitely has some really nice benefits to it. And again, my advice has always been, if you're looking at doing this kind of trading strategy, it's a great strategy. Just make sure you're picking stocks you want to own. If you're doing it on AMC, but you don't want AMC, then that's where the risk comes in. And then you start to get, maybe start to not follow your strategy the right way. Doing Nvidia, Palantir, Google, Amazon, SPY for me, those are the ones that you have that solid conviction for. Definitely.
Okay.
Interesting.
And if you guys didn't know, ABJ, you got a YouTube now, don't you?
I do.
Man, let the people know.
Oh man, yeah, I've started my own YouTube channel as apart from quant data, where I go over a little bit more about how I trade, how I utilize quant data and data-driven trading approach. I just felt like it was better. Actually, the whole team felt it was better to separate that information from the actual quant data channel, whereas quant data's channel should be more so catered towards the actual product, not how to use it. It kind of leads into how a trader actually does things. And yeah, so I have my own channel. It's Apple Bottom Jeans with AAPL for Apple. And yeah,
Yes,
it's
sir.
going good so far.
Appreciate it. And if you guys haven't even tapped in with the fridge, you kind of late on that. Fridge, you let everybody know what you got going on with your channel, man.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I do. Dude, when I look up like articles, I find stuff all the time. So my channel on Fridge Financials, we're actually like I think 5 subs away from 400, which is absolutely crazy. My goal for this
Solid.
year for 2025 was 500, and I've been 2 months into the year and I'm already almost at 400, which is absolutely wild. But yeah, so basically the channel behind it has been really to bring a little bit of educational content. Again, if you don't know who I am a math teacher by day. I teach statistics at the AP level at my high school. I teach all different math classes. And by night, I like to just educate people. I love finance. I eat, sleep, breathe it basically. But I like to bring the financial side as well as the DGen side almost in a way. If you follow me on after hours, I also do a chat GPT picks my trades.
Yes,
That is a
sir.
DGen portfolio. But that challenge we've been following now, we're 5 weeks out of 6 profit, up like 23%, I think, in the last like month and a half. It's been an absolutely crazy thing. Oh, someone just said to me, I appreciate that. You're an awesome dude. But yeah, it's been just like it's just to have fun, man. I love doing this. I like talking finance. People don't in my that are my friends are just like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. I just love it. So feel free to check it out. There's shorts on there. There's long videos, educational content, you name it. I've made a video about it. So feel free to check it out. And yeah, that's all I got for my plug.
And
That's it for the day.
and like I be at work, man, and I'll just be driving or doing something on YouTube, and it'll post up and say Fridge Financial just posted, and it's cool because you fit so much like great information in such a very short time, and it just I mean it just give you just sparks something that gets you back on like your grind in the middle of the day just because I seen something that I like, that you done
Yeah.
posted, whether it's how much money I should be saving, by a certain
Yeah.
age or something. Bro, you post some fire content, in such a short amount of time. It keeps me motivated personally throughout the day, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, I really appreciate that. I mean, it's one of those things where, I've watched content creators who just like, oh, like they do this, whatever. My goal for some of the channel was just to be like, I'm an average Joe. Like, I'm not someone who's worked on Wall Street. I'm not someone who has inherited thousands and thousands of dollars. I've been grinding since I was like 18 years old and moved out. I've been grinding hard every single day and just showing you like anybody can do it if you put in the amount of time, you put in the amount of energy, you put in the effort, you cut back here and there, you can be the first generation millionaire in your family. Like I want to be my first generational millionaire. So that's what my real focus is, so if I can bring that education to somebody else, even one or two people, that's the goal for me.
Appreciate that. I got a oh boy. I call this dude my little brother, man. He remind me so much of him, and then especially how much he grind in the market. He just remind me of the young me trying to make it. What's up, bro?
What's going on? What's going on, man? What's going on, man? So happy to be here. So happy to hear all the wisdom. Very happy and excited to hear from ABJ as well. I've always loved the content, and I've learned so much since I've gotten into the community and the market. Very excited for this episode.
Hey, I don't know if you got the stream up. I just put Bernie Mac shaking his head, bro, because like I said, we waiting on you, man, and you late, man. But it's all good,
I
dog.
know, I know. I was running. I was running. If you guys knew I was running, what I mean, not even Flash could get here on time the way I was.
I appreciate it, man. I'm just
But we're
messing
here. We're
with you,
here.
bro. Hey, he just give me little brother vibes. Like here it is. I'm waiting on I'm waiting on little bro. I'm like, hey, bro, look, we going live at 7. Cool, bro. I got you. I'm gonna be there. I got you. 7 o'clock comes, 7:15. Hey, little bro, where you at, man? You good? Yeah, man. I'm on the way. I'm on the way. Okay. All right, cool. We waiting on little bro. Little bro pop in. He don't say I'm here or nothing. He just kind of close the door behind him and slide in, and we
Or
in
I'm
here
in the back of the
talking.
class.
Yeah, man. We in here talking. Next thing you know, I'm like, look, bro, supposed to be here already, man. Let me peek back here and see what he doing, man. And I had to give you a shout out. Let the people know that you in here, fam. So
Appreciate it here.
welcome to the chat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, Fridge, appreciate you. ABJ, we just been lining anything out. Little bro, you wanna draw any attention to any stocks? Trying to make it to anything.
Oof. At the moment, I know everybody's definitely like feeling crazy about the week and how the market's been moving. And did you? I'm assuming you already dropped the spy analysis, right?
Yeah, I gave my little outlook on the spot.
Uh, uh.
What I was thinking was, if we don't tank, I think we open flat, and
Good.
either
So we're on the
we'll
same page.
Yeah, either we'll try to retest trend because this is the trend that I've been watching kind of from back here,
Yeah, I
and
see
I'm trying
that.
to see if we reclaim it, kind of like here. I'm trying to see if we reclaim this trend here, and then just kind of use this area as more resistance. Kind of
Nice. Okay. Okay.
yeah, since we did see this pause that day right here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Excuse me.
hmm We have to
I'm
regain that zone if we want to keep
yeah
continuing.
we got to reclaim this, and then if we do, then we'll probably see um, a little consolidation in between probably this 600
hmm
to probably 603 level, and then here between 605 to 606. So, excuse me, I still got that cough, man. But
Oh man, I
um,
feel you, bro. It started snowing over here, man. I wasn't even ready for it. No jacket, no nothing. Called me mid snow, mid
oh,
breeze.
yeah. But yeah, I'm thinking we consolidate here. I think it's at the moment it's still a struggle. I think the first thing I said is either we need to see a dramatic squeeze to the upside,
Yes,
or
yes.
we need to see just a big bottom out, so that way we can get out this kind of yo-yo right here. All
Exactly.
time
hmm
highs and then weekly lows.
Anybody in chat, I really do suggest like if by any chance we do get like a heart attack drop, 585 would be that like that circuit breaker level in my opinion. You know what I mean? If we break that level below there, you could definitely hop on the train for puts. I don't think it'd be nice to short a hold if the market's trying to just reset RSIs, reset MACDs and whatnot. Do feel like 595, 585 are those very important pullback levels, just in case. I did want to bring attention to Amazon. Yeah, let me get a little
You,
segment on that.
I was gonna say you got your charts up.
Yes, sir.
Let me
Should
swap
be
over.
should be good. Let me double check if it's yeah, we're good.
Okay, you
Something
up?
very interesting happened with Amazon. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So okay, I think everybody see. You can go ahead and talk your talk.
Okay, perfect. So basically, right here, let me go back to a daily chart. So you guys can see Amazon right now is on a beautiful, beautiful giant. Well, you could call this a rising wedge because this is basically what it is. And at this moment, we're finding support on a previous level that used to be like a consolidative zone. This whole zone right here that I have marked right here with the white lines in between that is a very important consolidative zone that before the breakout was a bull flag, and with the breakout, you know what I mean? We got the continuation from there, we got the retest right here, and then all the way until it peaked to around 241. Now, when you bring it down to the 4-hour chart, you have a lot of people probably wanting to get into puts here. I understand perfectly why. You have this very ugly double bottom looking here, double top going on here. But I do want to bring attention to the fact that there's certain levels that are holding very strongly. For example, we have the 220 level right here, very strong wicks that cannot be ignored. If this level breaks below right here, for example, we get a break below 221, I do suggest that puts below the break of the rising wedge would be a very good play for around maybe 217, this prior consolidation zone right here that I have marked down, the last white line. But what I'm looking for honestly is a regain of 228, 229, 230. If this double top gets rejected and we get like a very, a clean bottoming formation here, so to speak, I do suggest that, we could end up getting a very nice parabolic move to the upside to kind of reject this entire structure right here. So what you want to look for on Monday is for Amazon to regain this white line right here and start to work its way back up towards this top wick right here, which was also a very strong rejection zone for sellers. So you would want this zone to eventually break and become support for continuation to invalidate this bearish formation. I also tend to realize that every time bearish formations are invalidated, you get parabolic moves. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys remember, but not too long ago, everybody was going crazy over the head and shoulders on what was it? Nvidia, right? Everybody was
Yeah,
calling for 190, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
then before everybody knew, 145, 150, and then we're at the levels that we are today. So it's always good to keep in mind that these bearish formations, I look at them like, when it looks sometimes so obvious, or let's say it looks so like ugly, for me, it looks like a distraction. You know what I mean? It looks like it looks like bait. That's the best way to put it, you know? So yeah, what I'm looking for is continuation above the 230 level. We break below there, we break above there. You can get it to calls for at least 235 because it's gonna chase that top wick. Add a couple MAs, you can see that the top wick is lined up with the 50-day moving average, and you got the 200-day right here as well. First, we got to break that green moving average, that 20-day. We get above those zones, calls for. I'm gonna show you right here. This little gray box calls to this zone right here are good, in my opinion, my non-financial opinion. But yeah, that's what I think about Amazon. Any questions? Anybody? What you guys think?
I mean, as far as I go, I think we looked at Amazon. Well, no, we looked at Google.
I was gonna
Let's
look
see.
at Google too. That's the funny part. But then I'm like, somebody probably looked at Google after the big dump.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can go ahead and pull it up. As far as Amazon go, it just depends on how the market holds up, in my opinion. I mean, just looking at your chart, like you saying, we're breaking below. Looks like one of your crucial levels, that 220, 229
Mm-hmm.
level. And
Yes, sir.
let's see, you got that yellow and red moving average. Um,
This
what
this
time
cross right
frame
here
is
is deadly. Yeah, I'm on a
okay?
65 minute at the moment.
60. Okay, so that's cool. So we just have to watch and see the price action. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you know, normally when I see that, I start watching for a squeeze and then either a spurt to the upside to reclaim before the cross actually crosses, or a consolidation until that move actually makes itself. So okay, when you got the Bollinger Bands up, so you
Yeah,
know,
you can see it kind of. It's gonna get that squeeze eventually going.
yeah. So
It's gonna
that'll
have to
be
pick a side.
once that those moving averages get closer, we should start seeing the band start to squeeze tighter too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I normally pay attention to the middle band to see which way it's pointing, and that kind of gives me
Damn.
an early, yeah, that gives me an early indicator of which way the squeeze possibly could happen. And I actually learned that from a
That's
trader I used to
nice.
trade with all the time. If y'all follow him on After Hours, you may already follow him, but if you don't, trade with cash. He's actually doing a 10 million challenge himself too. But that's probably one of the first guys I started trading with when I actually started trading and meeting
All right.
different people online. Yeah, pretty dope trader, but I'm with you on that with Amazon.
Yeah, and of course, like you said, if we squeeze to the downside, that's a mean put right there. Because then you got that rising wedge on the 4 hour.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's only just a matter of time before we break out that wedge, get a little probably a little dead cap bounce retest to
Yeah.
continue that downside.
And that's your 200 MA right there, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that red. So I mean, that's a perfect test of support right there if it does come
Literally.
down. Yeah, if it comes down there. So I think that's a solid bounce if we do happen
Appreciate
to
that
drop.
royalty.
Yeah.
That Bollinger Band. I'm definitely gonna write that one in the notes right here.
But
A
ha,
little
ha,
trick. I like that little trick.
yeah, hey, you learning when you start watching tickers, man, and watching how indicators perform. I mean, like I said, it's always so many ways to read the market, but the thing is, I think somebody said it in the chat. You can never actually. It was Maddie, and I've been trying to get her on the stream, but she stayed busy. But
Damn, man.
like she said that you can never have too many confluences. So even if one thing I used to do
Word.
every time I used to have a move that I made, and when I was on quant data, if I seen that it alerted it on the quant data too, I used to post it on my Twitter or something, and I'd be like, I trade the chart and I use the indicator from quant data. I had them both in confluence, and it. So that, like I said, them tips, ABJ on quant. I mean, the alerts on quant, man, they used to be diamond for me, man.
Fire. Fire.
But what else you wanted to look at? Make
Oof.
Was it
What do you
Google?
think about AMD? I want to know what you think about AMD.
Oh,
I want to hear your
AMD.
I'm ready for this too because I got a position in it right now. I'm ready for this. I got to hear your breakdown. Am I gonna lose so much money this week? I hope not. I gotta hear this.
Okay,
Bro,
so
I'm gonna say is that this week I feel like it's a make or break, honestly, man.
Oh, dude, I want to hear
How
that.
do you what do you think about that royalty?
all right, so I don't know if you remember in your Discord, it was
Mm.
probably maybe a month or two ago. I gave you a breakdown of AMD. Like I said, it was
Yeah,
probably going down some more, and I labeled $92.
he
I
did.
still
Fuck, I
I
remember that.
I still have the chart. We actually looked at it earlier. Like, I'm gonna switch over to my stream,
hmm
and I'm gonna pull back up. Let's see.
We're
I'm
gonna
gonna go
break this
back.
one down together, Fridge, because I got money in there too, Fridge. I feel you, bro. Like, I'm trying to find every reason to for it to go up, bro. And like,
Well,
hate to start.
we were talking about at the beginning when Royalty was talking about we're talking about earnings and Mag 7 and stuff like that. I know AMD's not Mag 7, but it was just like, dude, like they had a killer earnings report. Like they knocked it out of the park.
Yes.
They were just like down like 8%. I'm like, how? How are you down 8% when you have a killer earnings report? But then you have like Google, Google like had an okayish once, couple misses, and they're down to like the same percent, and then AMD just keeps going down. It's just like,
hmm
what are we doing here, guys? Like, did
I
you guys
thought
read
we
the
were
report?
beat
Like,
down enough. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I'm seeing the weekly chart, the monthly chart. Like it's crazy because I'm at the point where I'm getting further and further away in the time frames, and I know something's wrong now.
Yeah,
Hey,
right.
hey, family, we got Terrify the AI in the chat, man. Shout out to what he do.
Oh,
Um,
Terrified. Shout out Terrified, man. That's the best interviewer on After Hour. Anybody
man,
he talks to has the sauce.
He was waiting
and
for you.
he,
He kept saying, he's like, where's my boy at? And I was like, I don't know. I
Word.
was like, he should be here in a minute.
man, but Terrify, shout out to you, bro. The
Shout out,
financial
shout
gems
out.
that you bring, bro. It's a gem, man. So he said that trying to make it speaks like he had at least 5 years strong in the game,
Oh man, I can't wait to see how I'm gonna look 5 years strong in the game, man. It's
bro.
motivational to hear that. Thank you, honestly.
I remember when I first started my Patreon. I just had somebody, he was asking me about BA. I was posting about BA, and he was hitting BA both ends, man. And I was like,
Go
okay, hey,
BA.
trade. And so like when I started my Patreon, he was like one of the first people to join and reach out to me really. And he was like, yeah, man, I'm just starting off. I'm trying, I'm trying to get good at this. And I was like, man, just hit me up. Whenever you need anything, just let me know, bro. And he's came a long way, and he went from one of the first people that I started helping to Like we run in a Discord, group together.
Like
We
that's
helping
crazy,
grow
bro.
other traders, man. So man, it's crazy. But I got my AMD chart up, so I don't want to hurt your feelings too bad with
Word,
what I'm
come light
showing
on
you.
us.
So as of right now, of course we got that downward trend that we're watching, that we've been watching for a
Hmm.
while now. And excuse me. And we got some major gap downs. We've seen some gap ups here, but around this area, this is early 2024. Like I said, at one point in time, it mirrored Nvidia. So anytime Nvidia ran up, AMD was good. They worked together.
Word.
Around the time Nvidia started having that big valuation, and portfolios started adding more of Nvidia to their portfolios, we start seeing it decouple. So
Mhm.
while Nvidia was steady shooting up, Nvidia slowly start going sideways and then coming down, and we still seeing that spurt that we normally see from AMD, but it was always short lived. So around this second gap down right here, and it shows up on the daily, so that kind of shows that tells me how significant the gap is. That it shows up on the daily. Once I seen this second one, I'm like, all right, something ain't right with it. AMD, it ain't moving, it's consolidating too much. We'll see some days where the market's just pushing, but we won't see AMD move much. So it
Hmm.
just kept drawing attention to it. So as of right now, we're in a, let's see when it started. It started 10/8, 2024. So from here all the way up until now, we just been kind of in a clear downtrend,
Yeah.
and
No
a, and
bottoming as of yet.
an aggressive one at that, an aggressive
Hmm.
uh, downtrend.
Damn.
So as of right now, we're kind of seeing that, you're kind of seeing it level off. I ain't gonna fake. If I'm looking at it, it's trying to bottom, and it's just doing it in a slow manner. So
Yeah.
we had the first aggressive one. We have a one that's kind of lessened up. Soon, what we're probably gonna want to see to know, all right, we're there. If we keep seeing the retest of this trend here, as long as it doesn't break and pushes us, we might see just a slow little rounding bottom down to 92 if we see it. Because if we look back over here around this area right here, here's a slow, kind of a slow area of consolidation. So
Yeah.
that could be where we're at right now. This this area right here is a consolidated area. So if we
That's true.
drag this over here, all right. So this could be a retest and a further downside, because the top of this retest kind of lines up where we'll see new resistance at. You feel me? So we'll definitely want to watch and look for any type of
Mhm.
gap ups in this channel right here between 116 and 125. That's what I'll be
Right. That's
seeing.
what I thought. That's what I thought about next week. So I feel like next week we needed to regain, especially those values, get back in the teens, keep the teens, and start heading towards the 20s to really, to really solidify that bottoming theory. But as of now, like you're saying, it's really not there yet.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna keep looking to see if we hold this trend right here and just kind of make, slowly make lower lows, but look for another probably level of support like that. You know, we'll
Yeah.
take we'll take something like this and see if we get like a slow rounding bottom somewhere around here. And if we break
Mhm.
one, then we might see a slow fall and then recover. Or if we break them both, then we might just see that free fall down to $98, where I have kind of supported a buy zone
Hmm.
at. So that's what I'll be watching for on here. I'll
Yeah.
look for Friday's close because it was a higher low. Excuse me. I'll look for this sideways movement, and I'll just kind of take, if I'm gonna take calls, I'll take calls around like 106,
Hmm.
65 or somewhere around there. And as long as that
Hmm.
holds, you can. I wouldn't recommend buying the dip. One thing that I used to do, if I have multiple levels of support lined out, if it breaks, if it's not much of a drop, then I'll buy another call. I'll take the retest, and then I'll make some of my money back and hope that this trend reclaims and get some of my money back if we hold up on that first contract I entered. But the tricky thing about that is you have to be careful that it doesn't break the second trend and make another continuation down. So
Yeah,
it's a
Mhm.
risky play, but if it holds up, you make some money back, and you it's the possibility of this, just being a fake out, or if it breaks, all right, maybe I need to wait to average down or cut, everything all together.
it's true.
Yeah,
So
It's
I'm
completely
looking
true.
at. I got a cash secure put at 105 expiring this week, so like right below literally like that level that you basically drew out. So next 5 days. I mean, looking it has to go down like about I think it's about like 2% in the next 5 days when markets open. Um, so we'll have to wait and see, I guess, what happens with that one. But my other option is obviously either I get a sign at 105 or I roll it out a week or roll it out like 2 weeks, get in it for a lower discount possibly as it finds that bottom, hopefully. So I'm not too worried about it still, but
Cool, cool.
wouldn't mind it. Wouldn't mind it. Having a little bit of a bump up this week, catch in on like it was like 1.5% premium, which is like
Mhm.
for a week is pretty good. I'll take it.
Yeah. My only thing was like on the daily chart. This is my only theory because this one isn't really like giving me a direction of, oh, it could bottom here.
you
But
got
I
it pulled
do.
up?
Yeah, I got it pulled up right here. I was back testing a little bit. I posted this on I think I'm pretty sure I posted this on the Discord as well. I back tested the daily bullish chart, the daily bearish, I mean the daily bullish divergences for AMD. You know, we could go back to 2018. You know what I mean? The last time it popped up. There you go. So I could start right here. I like to mention the fact that every single time a bullish divergence was seen on the daily chart, a parabolic move did follow. Not before we got a very big dip, a scary one. You know what I mean? Because if you check these daily candles up close, you can see these big red candles that I'm assuming were a bunch of stops that were triggered before this giant move happened. And this is 2022. Fast forward over here, same kind of vibe. I'm assuming a lot of stops were, a lot of stops were triggered below the 200 day, and then they carried it all the way up here. So the question is, what is the next catalyst that could bring this AMD to this level? I did a little bit of research and looking at the earnings and Lisa Su when she was answering a couple questions, they were asking her about Q2, and she mentioned that in Q2 they were going to have a lot more revenue coming in because they were going to have more, I don't remember the name of the product, but it's a product that is going to bring a lot of revenue, and they promised tens of billions of dollars in the next coming years. So there's a lot of money coming in for this company. Not at this moment, but in the coming years, I do feel like it is a good long-term buy. Maybe nobody wants to, buy the shares straight up. So I do suggest people playing AMDL. If you want to, get 8, 7, $6 shares right now, they're probably 6, $5 a pop. So, grabbing a couple of those and hiding it away wouldn't hurt. Just my personal opinion here. But it
Listen,
is a very interesting back test when you look into it.
they say we echoing. Um, let's see.
How bad?
Terrified AL said we echoing, and it might be. I don't know.
Uh, Hold on. I'm mute. My desktop is muted. Is everybody's desktop muted?
Mine
Speakers?
did. Well, my speakers is.
Yeah, mine is too. I'm just listening through a headset.
Uh,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah,
that's a
we got.
little interesting.
Let me see.
I'm on push to talk.
Oh, yours is on push to talk.
Yeah, so can't be echoing from me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, when we get big guys, we'll have an actual podcast studio. Don't worry, just right now.
You
That's
gotta
the way I
start
look
somewhere.
at
You gotta
it.
start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere, right?
Oh,
Right.
damn. Studio podcast sounds fire, man.
Hey,
Right.
it'll be in the working one day, man. Like I said, it's episode 2, but hopefully the next episode we take it off even more.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
do want to give ABJ his flowers for teaching me Greeks. I'm gonna be so honest with you guys. When I found out about the Greeks, game changer. Disgusting game changer.
Oh, I appreciate that shout out, my friend.
I didn't know how to pick out. I didn't know how to pick out contracts for the life of me. That was definitely a game changer. So I appreciate that for sure. Anybody in the in the comments and chat right now that doesn't really know about the Greeks, I definitely suggest checking out ABJ's YouTube channel. He definitely probably has a couple stuff in there about it.
Yeah, man.
Just a little bit. Working hard on putting more content out there. But yeah, hey man, again, thanks for the shout out. I think I think as options traders, we really should be taking the time to understand what it is exactly that we're trading. I'm sure Fridge Financial would agree with me saying this. I know he just stepped away,
No,
but
I'm back. I wasn't sure I was echoing, so sorry I muted for a second.
oh, okay, okay. Well, I don't know if you want to take this and tell it to your student too, but if you're going to trade options, it's the same thing as like I say, would you buy a car before you get your driver's license?
Hmm.
Hmm.
If you're not going to do that, then why would you trade options without fully understanding what options contracts are and what they represent in the market?
The
So
fundamentals. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah,
at some point, I don't want to get I don't want you guys to get as crazy as me, but taking away the charts and candles, even before you take a trade and just looking at the options chain tells you a whole lot.
And I always respected that about you, man. Like,
Word.
the way that you traded was just it was just different, and it fascinated me. And one thing about me, like, if I see a style and it's profitable for somebody else, I need to learn it. I need to see what's up, and like you always come through and give me like little tips and tricks and everything. So man, I I definitely respect your style of trading, man.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I think the respect goes full circle here. I think everyone here does a little bit of everything, and if you're green, in the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what anyone else says. So you guys are
Yeah,
killing
doing
it here.
something right.
Man, I
yeah, that's
like
for sure.
I like this Tesla chart, bro.
You watching Tesla right now?
Yeah, I got Tesla chart pulled up.
Yeah, you
I
guys were
like
talking
it.
about Tesla when I joined in.
Huh?
You guys were talking about Tesla when I joined in. You like the chart. What really brings your attention to the chart the most?
It's a big downwards channel, and stocks only go up. So
Mm.
when this thing breaks out, like it's gonna move. We had like a
Good
little brief
word.
we had a brief break of structure right here at that 387 level where we broke and seen a retest and then a flush. And I got the 65-minute chart up like you do. It's a
Mm-hmm.
gap right here at the 359 and 358 that we're getting ready to fill. And then
Mm-hmm.
there's also an unfilled level down to like 345 ish. So
Okay.
that 345 level kind of lines up um, with a level of support that I have. So these upcoming weeks for me, especially with the red earnings, um, it looked like they're red on surprise and well on earnings and on revenue, but I haven't really looked any further into the financials outside of that. But if we drop down to this 340 level to 345, I think it's a good possibility it takes back
Yeah.
off to the upside again.
Checking it out right now on the weekly as well. You have support on the 20-day for 351 as well. Now that I'm checking, definitely correct. Can find support near those levels as well.
Yeah, I
The
got the
death, the
chart.
daily wants the death cross, but it could definitely, what really causes a death cross to invalidate? Like you need very, very strong volume. You need momentum. You need all these things to pair together.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But yeah, I like that. And let's see, what is that? What your 200? What price is that at right now? Your
My
200
to
EMA.
for my daily right now we have it at 296 or 300 to be exact. 298.68. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah,
That
I like.
kind of lines up around here. Yeah. This gap down here.
I like that little block of trading consolidation between looks like 350. Yeah, so the top go down.
Oh, sorry. Uh,
Yeah, that from that three look like 350 down to probably like that two or right at 300. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, right
So
over 300. Yeah,
at 300 to 350, I would really watch that for some consolidation.
truly, you're right about that one. This whole zone right here needs to be protected.
Yeah, so I think we could see some volatility to the down, either
Ooh, below
extremely to
this,
the
I'd buy the
downside.
dip.
Yeah, so
I'd
I
buy the
like
dip
that
on
right
it.
there.
Do you
Anywhere in
think
that
what are the
box.
possibilities of this type of move right here? Because you know what I mean. It looks like it wants to kind of repeat that same type of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Little
I
falling
agree.
wedge. Yeah, damn, interesting. So
And
it really all
like
depends on
that,
how we open up on Monday.
yeah. So like, look at that box, and then look at the next earnings. So this could be a load up going into next earnings for a skyrocket back to the upside.
When are the earnings?
It looks like it's down there to the corner
Yeah, close to
around
May.
May. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
May. Okay, okay. So that's Q2 at that point, right? For all the companies.
right,
Yep.
right.
Nice, 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 nice.
So I think
Let
if
me
we
tell you,
see,
dude. I was looking at Tesla, dude, and I don't know if you guys followed much about it. So I used to have like over 100 shares of Tesla at like 250, like 220. I sold them out before it pumped up. I'm so I hate looking at Tesla starts now. I just I could have doubled my money so quick. It's so frustrating to watch this sometimes. I was like, dude, that was one of my first huge learning moments. I think because like I lost like a couple grand on Tesla stock, and as soon as I got rid of it, dude, it went up to like 400, and I was like, oh my god, dude, I could have made so much money on it, but
Yeah.
it
Check
is
out
what it
this.
is.
when was
I
that
popped up
posted?
a Yahoo Finance. Yeah, you see it on my screen now, right? Yeah, it was
Y-
posted February 8th, 4 o'clock today.
Really?
Oh
Oh,
wow,
that's from.
So that's pretty good information as well, and it has nothing to do with car business. So I'm assuming the robo
Optimus,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
Optimus,
Optimus
yeah,
has true
yep.
potential of Northern. Yeah, he said he's gonna drop this what mid-year.
Something like that, I believe. Starting to get production out for it.
If Q2 isn't it, I'm gonna tell you right now, Q2 will probably give you the dip of the lifetime to buy for Q3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you gotta think about
If
it also, it's like similar to like the Cybertruck though, right? Like Cybertruck started getting mass productions and like even those numbers didn't really like meet expectations of Wall Street when the Cybertruck started coming out though. So it might take a little bit of I think it might be a couple quarters potentially until you really start to see it maybe priced in.
Yeah, and look at these words that Elon Musk said at a conference. These type of words on an earnings call would make Wall Street go nuts. Talking about a $200 trillion business someday. Come on.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I think it'd definitely be interesting. He just he just has his hand invested in so much with the space travel and the robots and the car
Hmm.
companies, just
You guys
innovative.
think
Oh, the Neuralink,
sorry,
with the chip and everything, like the chip in the brains
yeah,
to help people rehabilitation and stuff like that.
exactly, man.
So, um, let's go ahead and do this. Do anybody in the chat or anybody in the group Discord, do y'all have any requests for charts? And
Let's talk about it. We're conversating.
we can check them out real quick, man. I've been setting up the alerts, man. I think me and trying to make it was I was explaining to him how it works, and how everybody will be able to lock into the alerts that I set daily. I think I finally have it to the point to where, okay, Microsoft, I think I finally have it to where everything's just locked in,
That's
and
actually
I
fire.
and I was telling everybody pretty much how to use it, but I have it locked in to where um, whenever I got it set to where whenever a stock price hits the bottom of a buying zone, that's gonna be the beginning of a swing to me, and then top of the buying zone will be pretty much where you can either catch the trade back up into momentum, or I had the cues, selling pressure. Like whenever you see a stock in a selling pressure, then the group will automatically know, okay, he thinking puts, or he in the minds of puts. And it
Mm-hmm.
was actually gonna be, that would have been a beautiful play. Cause I always watch SQQ. That's probably just my main two. Um, just because it makes me feel comfortable trading. And that's all that matters, honestly, is what makes you feel comfortable trading. But
Mm-hmm.
when I saw SQQ was entering the top of a bullish zone, I had my hands washed with calls at the time.
Yep.
And
At that
so
point, you was like, "Yep."
facts. So when I start seeing SQQ crossing the top of buying zone, and I start seeing QQQ crossing below a certain price for the selling pressure, bro. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I posted it and um I didn't even alert what it was, like the puts for Qs, and it would have been so fire, bro, because SQQ was actually at the bottom of a buying zone. Here it is right here. I said I'm being patient today, and I saw that
Mm.
it had a bottom forming right there, bro. And the alerts had went off at $28.10. So I already knew that this was in the buy zone and Qs were super high. So this was at 8:56 where we should have been entering puts. When I
A strong
text
confluence.
everybody, yeah, everybody's it's starting to reject 532 and it's crossing, it's rejecting my trend right there. Next thing you know, man, I got done loading my truck and I just seen everybody just wondering what's happening to the market, man. And it was crazy. So I have all Mag 7. All the Mag 7 is gonna be synced with the Discord now. So whenever I get buying and selling points on any of these, it's gonna alert y'all in the royalty trades trading view alerts. And it's gonna be something I'm just gonna have to get y'all used to using. But it kind of puts you in a mindset, like when I'm saying, grab Microsoft calls, be patient,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys see SQQ entering a buying zone or something like that, then y'all know, hey, he watching this or he watching that. So that way, we don't get caught with our pants down. You feel? So
Yeah, word.
once I get all the
That's
bugs and
exactly
make sure
that.
that that's locked in, bro, that's gonna be like super super fire for the
Hell
day.
yeah.
So
Hell yeah. It's literally it's driven to give you direction. And I feel that's the most important thing in the market. You want to know what's the next move. All right. Like what's happening next after this.
yeah,
That's so
so
important.
somebody in the chat, they posted no, I think somebody in the Discord posted Microsoft. So you can get your take on Microsoft if you want to.
All right. So you could call this a giant consolidation zone, but you could also look at what's really going on right here. And it looks kind of crazy. You know what I mean? You have hold on. I think this is the proper wedge. Yeah, this is a proper wedge. Sorry about that. Okay. So as you can see, we're falling out of this entire wedge zone that Microsoft has been building itself in. I guess the move that this giant gap is given right here should have been towards the upside, and since it's not, you have a giant possibility of continued downwards momentum. You have a bearish engulfing candle on the daily chart, right? Move towards the weekly. That's a shoot. That's a correct me if I'm wrong. I think a rising star, shooting star candle, bearish
Right.
as well. So these are two, and then you got the weekly bearish divergences on its way already playing down. So you're gonna expect more room down there. This bullish divergence already gave its move to 455. You go down to the 4 hour, more bearish pressure, as you can see. It looks like we're getting, yeah, there you go. It's funny because I feel like the market likes to recycle formations. I know you guys always hear me talking about the same formations, but here you go. Double top, there's your neckline. You got the break, you got the retest, and then you got the continuation right here. It's trying to ride itself above the 5 day. It tried to regain the 5 day and the 20 day, but it failed. So that right there is another, indication for you as a trader to know, all right, not safe to get into calls yet. You have all these MA crosses. So I honestly feel like on Monday, if you see this 15-minute right here. Okay, boo. 15-minute, you have a bullish divergence. So you possibly are gonna get maybe a pre-market move to finish off this move. It's probably gonna try to regain this area. But if you get a strong rejection of 413, above 410, if you get strong rejections on those levels on the teens, I suggest puts because I'm gonna be honest with you, the chart doesn't look very, very nice here. You have this giant wick right here, so I feel like below 404 would be like your circuit breaker level, and then you could get puts below 400. Yeah, that's what I think right there. What do you think, Royalty? What do you guys think?
Um, I had the chart up a little bit ago. Let's see.
Oh, me personally, Rick Vincent, I like to use the 65-minute time frame because I get very specific candle formations. I get very specific gaps that you just don't see on the hourly chart. That's my personal take on the 65-minute. I'm very comfortable with it. Also get different types of indicators I line up and always, they tend to play out.
So let me turn my alerts on because I actually have them set up. So
Oof.
I actually tried to take some calls here because it was the bottom of my buying zone for now,
Mm,
and only because I see a lot of consolidation
it's holding it. You're right.
in these levels. So we seen a sell off in the day, and that's just because the market was showing weakness. So I got 408.82 at the top of my buying zone, which I end up cutting my trade once it got here, just because it's a possibility that since this is the top of the buying zone, we could possibly push down further. But I re got into a 412 call here on the 408 bounce, and I just scalped it
Mm,
just to make some money back. But
yeah.
like I said, I got the alert set up at 408. I got alert set up at 401 and 412 right now, and that's just gonna be the levels that I'm gonna watch right now. If I go and I just look at it as just straight chart, kind of that. Get off of that. Okay, so kind of that consolidation range that you pointed out, that you had
Yep.
that was breaking out. I kind of have that big window too, and I'm on a 65-minute chart like you, and so I can look and see that the main trading range is like this in my eyes between this 448 and this 405.75 because that's where we see most of the consolidation at. And
hmm
everything outside of that was, short lived. So we seen an explosive move to the upside here, and then it quickly came back down into this area. And then here we seen a brief break here to where it's bought back up, and another break here to where it's bought back up. But most of the movement for me is between 448 and 405. So
hmm
I'll be watching for this trend if we test it to be around this 403 level. And as you can see,
Yeah.
that's going to be a brief break below outside of that big trend. So I'm hoping that that's going to be short lived as long as we don't gap down again. If we don't gap down, I think Microsoft is a good buy because, as
Yeah.
you guys know, if y'all the ones that's in the Discord, I didn't had a little vendetta. I know ABJ said something about it a little while ago, but I have a personal vendetta against shorting Microsoft sometimes. I want to be
Yo,
right.
I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. I feel that way sometimes about Apple because every time I do try to short it, I get caught on the wrong side. You know what I mean? It really
Yeah.
do be like that. Felt
And
that.
you just wonder, you be like, nah, I'm gonna get this right. The last time I shorted Microsoft, we got a nice return off of it. Um,
hmm
but it gets bought back up
Yeah, I
so
saw
quick.
that. That was a great play.
Yeah, appreciate it. Um, but yeah, man, I think that the bought on Microsoft, the dip on Microsoft gets bought so quickly is for a
Yeah.
reason. It's for a reason they won't let the stock fall to a certain price. And if it does fall, it recovers. Like this is probably the longest that Microsoft has been down right now since the gap down prior to ER.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So I'll be watching for this 403 level as a level of support. I don't I don't think that it'll break down too much further because my next level support is down here like 376. I
Yeah,
don't see it dropping that low. I could see it hold. ah, I could see it holding these levels here at 405, and
exactly. Yeah, that's why I thought circuit breaker
and
level would definitely like below 400. You already got that circuit breaker level, but I feel like we're at a bottoming. Like if you go back to the 65-minute chart, I had a really good like vision on your chart because sometimes it's really good to look at other people's charts. You work with the
yeah,
GAN fan very often, and the GAN fan right now as I'm looking at it is showing. It's not showing a downtrend. It's showing consolidation, showing that the
right,
uptrend is still intact. So if you want to yeah, this is good, and it's good to break up from where it's at right now at this moment. And the
yes,
RSI's are sold on various for time frames, so a move up is very likely.
yeah. So if I just want to just expand the horizons for like tops and
Oh
bottoms,
yeah.
this would be our lows right here around 385. But look at the
Mm-hmm.
return. Our high is to
Look at that.
469. That's
Yeah,
that's a big return for
big window.
Microsoft.
Yes, sir.
So I think that's about a dip moment. Even if we continue ranging sideways, even if it's a sideways movement, we're still seeing a slow increase back up toward all time highs at 469.
And checking the 4 hour chart, if it continues consolidating from where it's at right now, it could easily work on a double bottom to fight against the double top that it made and easily invalidate it. So yeah, that chance is definitely there. I feel like above, in my opinion, above 418, you're clear for 425, 430s.
Yeah, because it normally once it starts breaking up into like supply levels, it normally eats that price action up pretty good. Like as you can see, we
Yes,
got
sir.
this last time it just
I
spikes up
agree.
into it until it sells off, and then here it made a quick U or I wouldn't say a V recovery, but it made a nice rounded recovery back up and then it just exploded. Like this was when I guess Trump won the presidency or elected presidents, and we just seen that smooth ride up.
Hmm.
So, um, I definitely like Nvidia Microsoft long term on the buy ups, especially if it drops below 400.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I'm on that. I definitely agree with that. Definitely agree with that. The other moves, like you mentioned, is definitely interrupted price fluctuations from the move that was, the actual trend that was supposed to be on Microsoft. Because the trend is up. We're trending up. It was just
right,
interrupted by these fluctuations, and all it's gonna do is continue doing what it was doing once it's over it.
yeah, and so
Yeah, that's
let's look
good.
at one more. Let's do. I seen in the chat somebody said hood. Um,
Oh, that's
hood.
tough. I haven't heard of Hood in a minute. Where is it at?
Like 50
I'll hit
something, I
you.
think. Close to
Oh,
50.
stop it. 50 something,
Yeah.
yo. Oh, that hurts, man.
Do you see New Fish Big Pond like post about some guy about like I think it's like tigers, like there's like the like European or Asian like exchange for like buying and selling stocks. Apparently, that's what he was looking at putting money into. I was like,
Wow.
oh, I didn't even think of it that way. So he was like, yeah, it's like the Robinhood, but like for over there, I guess.
That's crazy,
Essentially,
bro.
yeah.
And then isn't there like a meme coin called Hood? And it's like Trump inspired. You guys heard of that? Some meme coin is blowing up too.
It's so
Not saying
Bro,
the
these
many.
best
meme
meme
coins,
coin for
dude, are
nobody.
these meme coins are so funny, dude. Like you, have you ever gone on like coinmarketcap.com and just like looked at like sorted by like meme coins trending? Some of these names are like the funniest names you could ever imagine. I love it every time I like to read about them.
That's crazy.
Butt face coin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right. Like okay, I got all my money in it. Don't worry. All right, dude.
Yeah,
Good luck. Good luck with you on that one. I'll keep my money in like Nvidia and everything else. It's fine.
I
Yeah.
swear, bro.
Hood's been crazy though. So
Rising
Mm.
wedge, rising wedge, anybody? Rising wedge, anybody? No. Chill. I don't want to scare people in the chat.
you never know
Nah, it's
when you
strong,
like
man.
you never know when the short it's hard to short hood. All you can do is keep buying a dip at the moment.
Oh yeah, just put that support line and follow it.
I ain't like even if you look at your RSI and you had a bearish divergence, it still didn't hold long.
Yeah, it didn't get. Look at this. Come on.
It didn't hold long.
Yeah, man. Hood is disrespectful. Hood is disrespectful. Ooh, and it's filling gaps. What's the
So I
volume
like
on there?
I like that trend that you got right there. So whatever you started that trend at, the fact that it's respecting the 200 and that's on a 65-minute chart. So anytime it look like it touches the 65-minute chart, it gets bought back up immediately. So right now
Mm-hmm.
your
Yes,
200
sir.
is around $51. So I mean, by the time that EMA that price action catches up, we may see it around like 52 or something, 52 between 52 and 53.
Still in the wedge as well. That's crazy. Yeah, man.
So yeah, that 65, you see how that consolidation right there forms between 53 and probably 50. So
Mm-hmm.
if you go over
Yep.
to the left, yeah, you see that little block of right there. So if you space that out and draw that over, that's probably where you should see a buying point. Yeah, and you draw that all the way out to the trend. Yeah, so that'll be a beautiful buying point if the price meets the
Nice.
200 on that 65-minute chart.
Yeah, they'll try to scare you below the 50. But that's where you need to kind of get in, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Higher. And this could also be a FEG that lines up with the 200 day and this prior high right here. There's a lot of like support. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Hood is nice.
If you think about like from a company perspective though, like they actually are one of those. Like I mean, they're a brokerage, and like they've been like the meme of brokerages for the longest time because of like the GameStop, AMC saga, and all that stuff like that. But like they're doing some pretty innovative things. Like they gave out like Dogecoin and Bitcoin for the new year, which was like no, I haven't seen any other brokerage doing that. They had the Trump versus Kamala. You could buy into the derivatives or whatever it was that it was for the election. Like I give them credit for trying to innovate like the brokerage a little bit. I mean, I haven't seen anybody else doing it, which is why I think it's starting to get that momentum back up. Because I remember looking at this stock when it was like $10, like $11, and then like ever since then, it's just been just getting a lot of momentum behind it. I feel like.
Yeah.
Literally, man. That is definitely true. And they added Indicite, and then you could also trade
Yeah.
SPX, you could trade VIX, you could trade anything out there.
Uh-huh.
There's so much more money getting flowed into Robinhood.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like I said, I see so many like I'm like, you know what? That's a cool idea. That's a cool idea. You know, they have the new Robinhood Legend desktop version that's pretty cool to interact with and stuff like that, and you can be able to look at those kind of things. It's I give them credit for trying to like, just keep pushing more things. Robinhood Gold is like a really good perk that I've had now for like over a year, and I've loved it. I've made my money back and then some just by having Robinhood Gold. Like it's impressive what they keep coming up with. You know, you think they've come up with all of it, and they come up with something brand new. And people are starting to think about, you know, are they going to start branching off into the like gambling? So ever since the Kamala Harris Trump inauguration or presidential campaign, people started worrying about now, like, oh, are they going to start pushing into the gambling scene? And that
Yeah.
would be a first if
That
they
was
started going to a gambling scene from a brokerage standpoint. That'd be interesting.
that was something that fish, new fish, big pond. That's something that he brought up last time. That was one of his things that he was talking about was Robinhood could possibly be implementing sports betting. And he said it's
Look at
nothing
that.
confirmed yet, but he could see that definitely happening. If that happens, like you can instead of you placing like actual bets, say you can buy like a contract on under or over for,
Hmm.
Saquon Barkley getting over, 200
Yeah.
yards rushing or something like that. Like that'll be a game changer.
Sorry, so I could input into that as well. What's that website, if anybody could help me, that lets you bet on real world events?
Oh my god, I've seen it like advertised everywhere. But there was one I forgot what the name of it was, but there's one where some dude was like, "You're gonna bet on the $1.50 Costco hot dog going up or something like that this year." I
Stuff like
was like,
that.
"That's," I was like, "That." I was like, "That's a wild thing." I
Yeah,
forgot what it was.
that's
You
a
have
real
companies like
thing.
Robinhood. Yeah, that's a real thing. And I do feel
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Robinhood
Oh,
is a company that could buy
Kalshi.
that out.
I think it's
Oh
Kalshi.
yeah. Yes, yes, you're
Yeah,
right. Kashi, something like that.
Kashi,
Bro,
Kalshi, whatever it is, dude. It's funny, man. Like you
bro,
can
it's
bet on literally
wild.
anything you want.
It's wild, like just watching the world turn into a bet.
I bet.
Yeah,
Yeah, word.
just bet
That's
on whatever.
crazy.
Hmm.
And so, like, I'm here in Louisiana, and here we big on casinos. Um,
Yeah.
in my city alone, like we have the river, and the laws are different on the river than it is on land for betting and stuff. So we got like the casinos on the river, um, and we're building another one here.
I get
It's
Huh.
that.
called Live. It's called Live to where it's gonna be like fully integrated sports betting. So it's
That's
gonna
actually
be
pretty cool.
crazy. Yeah, and then
Cash
we
out's
But
gonna
got
be
like,
super easy.
we
there
got
was
50 Cent buying up stuff here in our city, like the rapper 50. He's been buying up a
yeah,
lot of different buildings and stuff, and he's been, I think, with that Hollywood influence, he could make, this city here, Shreveport, like he can make betting a big thing here. So that's crazy. Just saying, you can. It's a
yeah,
website where you can bet on anything.
Yes,
yeah.
sir.
But like it's one of those things where it's like because gambling has become just like a huge thing just and like in general. Like have you ever watched like Drake live stream like gambles like stuff all the time and he drops like 500,000 here, 300,000 here on like this sports team, whatever it is. And then on top of that, like I made a video about it like a long time ago, but there's research coming out showing that more people are focused on gambling instead of like investing and buying things in because
Yes,
they were
yes.
they were treating it like the GameStop AMC was literally buying into that was straight up gambling and hoping for the pump
Mm-hmm.
and dump and whatever it was, and it's crazy because it's a lot of people these days. I think they want that like snap the fingers, get rich quick, win the lottery, retire, call it a day. And that's I feel like where the mindset is going for people. And I think Robinhood could maybe capitalize on that and be like, hey,
Yes.
if people love to gamble, like let's just start throwing some stuff in there. Like options can be considered gambling if you're not doing the right research, you're not understanding the contracts and everything else. Like it could be just pure gambling and speculation. Like it's crazy that like that's where I feel like it's going towards instead of saying like, nah, I don't want to invest in ETFs. I want to invest in nice, solid, stable companies. I want to just invest in like meme stocks, meme coins, get rich quick, pump and dump, call it a day. And it's those people who are getting burned like so badly. And I think Robinhood might want to capitalize that, which I hate to say
Yep.
it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
blame them. Like
It's true. It's
that's where
true.
we're going.
That's exactly what my entire like take was going towards. You know what I mean? I feel like everybody, the big
Yeah.
drug in the world, especially in this country, is the scheme of getting rich really fast, right? Nobody wants
Yep.
to take the slow way. Nobody wants to do that. So there's a lot of money just there. And you're telling me
Mhm.
Robinhood, that application is so easy to like. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was the first broker I've ever used, and I still use it to this day because it's so easy to just buy an option. You know what I mean? I
Yep.
went on Schwab. I had to
I
train
agree.
myself on Schwab. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No, it's easy.
Robinhood, it'll capitalize and it'll grow off of that, and they'll invest in their databases. They'll invest in how much they can support, and they'll grow a bigger platform. Robinhood Legend. Has anybody tried it out yet? I feel like it's pretty solid.
I have. I have so
I
far. I mean, you could definitely do it a lot better. I've used it and like I've set up like my desktop to like have it. So I really thought that like it was gonna be like a Webull though, where I could literally download it to my desktop and not have to go onto the website still. So I would love it if they had like a desktop application where I can just click and log in like Webull does, because I
Mm-hmm.
don't feel like having to do it, then log in, make sure that my two-factor set up, make sure my privacies are all set up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, I would love that as like an extra feature. But other than that, like you can set up however you want. You can watch any chart you want. You can watch any, you know, options contract you want. You can watch your portfolio itself. Like I think it's great. And it's kind of similar to Webull in that aspect, but I think it's great. I
Mm-hmm.
love it so far.
Yeah. Yeah. I completely agree. There's a lot of upside in Robinhood if they continue, executing in the right directions. 100 is definitely in the
Mhm.
future. You know, that's true.
I'm good
Yeah,
with
man.
Robinhood, man.
I like
Yeah.
using it. I'm the same way as you. Like it's so easy to be like, oh, what about option contract? Boom, boom, boom. And they got a
Mm-hmm.
lot of crap like years ago because they used to have that freaking confetti. So like you'd buy a stock and like it would like rain confetti and stuff like that, and they got so
Yeah.
much backlash. They were just like they got like lawsuits for like gamifying, stock investing and stuff like that. They got so much hate for it. And I was like, yeah, but hey, I mean, they knew what sold, right? I mean, people
Mhm.
liked the confetti. People liked to see like, oh
Yes.
my god, I actually won. It's like you won something. Like that, there, it's the psychology. They must have so many people behind the scenes doing psychological factors, reading
It's
into it,
deep.
and
It's
what the
deep.
people
Mhm.
like.
It's deep. It's all
There
like
has to be.
it goes back to the whole entire basis of the market. You know what I mean? It's psychological. It's all sentiment driven. You know what I mean? If they can make
Mhm.
you feel good that you're buying a stock, even though it's downtrending, even though it just broke out of like a bearish wedge, but the person doesn't even know. They just bought a stock. They got confetti. Great. You know what I mean? They check later on. They lost $50. All right, move on. It's all
Yeah.
about that. It keeps them coming back. You're right. Sentiment is very much a strong thing when it comes to all these kinds of plays.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
charting
And
Robinhood right now, man, and it just has so many
It's
levels
so
of
strong. Yeah, it's so
support.
strong, man.
So
I thought about selling a put against it, but I'm waiting for like selling puts on an uptrend. Like selling puts on an uptrend is good, but like selling it on a green day though is like you're just missing on that premium. You know, like
Yeah.
if it gets like that nice pullback, like 1, 2, maybe even 3%, like a couple of days, then like you can capitalize on that premium and also get in a better price. But right now, since it's
hmm
been just nonstop uptrend, like I'm like, nah, I'm staying away from that for now. I'm waiting for a
Look at
pullback first.
Palantir. Look at Palantir. Last week we
I'll do the
charted it.
same thing.
Yeah, last year we
Yep.
charted it. Last week we charted it. Last week we said, all right, if it breaks above 80, it's not gonna stop. And what
Yep.
happened?
hey,
Yeah.
so check this out. So I don't have no EMAs or nothing up, and
Oh, this is tough.
we already looked at trying to make his charts, and we came up with the 52 to 50 $53 range. I guess that's where your 200 EMA was on a 65-minute chart, I believe.
Yeah. No, you're
Okay,
right.
so I got my chart pulled up, and 4 hour, we got that nice. It's a nice bullish gap here that eventually they're gonna want to fill. So as of right now, I wouldn't buy because it's this
Yeah.
opportunity, this level where it's at right now. This is kind of center
It's
of
FOMO.
yeah, it's the center of kind of this broadening pattern that we got. Uptrend channel. So this is just our current trend, like right there. This is our immediate trend that I will follow. So anytime that we come within this $53 buying level where it fills to the gap down here, I'll take that as an
hmm
immediate buy. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
anywhere over here is a buy. Prices look like they can travel all the way up to $58 to $59 at the moment. So it still has about another $4 or $5 in the tank to the
hmm
upside.
Yeah.
But right now, as far as the immediate trend, around $53, I think that'll be well between 53 and let's mark the top 54. I think anywhere between those levels should be an automatic buy and watch to make sure
Mhm.
that this trend right here gets respected and it makes either a nice V recovery or either you want to see a V recovery and a move back up, or you kind of see like this rounding bottom here and
I just
eventually
noticed
work its way back
they got
up.
earnings in 4 days. You might get that buying opportunity if they miss earnings for whatever
Okay.
reason.
Ooh,
4
nice.
days, yeah. It's this week. I was like, oh, I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, dude, what's the red thing down the corner? I'm like, oh, earnings in 4 days. I'm like, oh, that's what that's for. So that could be a potential. If they have a miss or the market doesn't like whatever, could bring it back down to that supply zone for a
And
buying
even if
opportunity.
I was gonna say, even if it sell, I don't think that I don't know if something causes the drop because lately we've been seeing stocks hit on both revenue and
Yeah,
Yeah.
both earnings and revenue, and it's still been tanking. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta,
yeah,
the only one that kind of performed at a decent rate. But even if we see this drop and we see some structure breaks, um, the if we drop below that, I would just watch for this 46 level to get filled, just because that's unfilled down there. So
Yeah.
it's always a possibility that
yeah.
it could get filled. I don't know if it'll be a slow rotation to fill these, or they just never get filled because there are times to where gaps just don't get filled just because the valuation runs away from it. But
Yeah.
I would definitely watch for this first, and then good thing you brought up that earnings. I just watch to see how many of these structures hold up, and normally once they break, I delete them. But we do have some
Yeah.
selling pressure in here and then in here too. So between 51 and 49, there is some old selling pressure that's in there that could, drain price if prices get too far deep in there. They'll panic sell off just to go ahead and get the dip going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Figure all
That's
those
like the
stop
one
losses.
thing. It's like the one thing when I first started, again, like as we all talk about, like, like every day is a learning day, for charting, options, trades, buying long term, whatever it is. One of the first things that I've learned the hard way is like I would like look at buying a contract or buying shares, whatever, and then I'll notice that like, oh crap, earnings are in 3 days away. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, man, it'll be fine. And then earnings just crashes my investment so quick. So like now when I'm looking at my trades now, like I'm seeing like what's coming up, what catalysts are there? Are there earnings being reported soon? Because that's where like you could really put yourself in a hole where even if they do have an amazing earnings beat, they could still stock could still come down. So one thing I've learned as I started trading was check earnings, make sure there's no catalyst coming up, no major movements, because
Yeah,
that really could make or break your portfolio for the week.
that's
I
true.
love that.
That's true.
It's all about being like, so you're talking about being probabilistic with your trades, and that's really important.
Yeah.
And so it's really
Yep.
great for the audience to hear that.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I'm all about the probabilities. That's why it's like, when you're an option seller, you have more probability usually in your favor compared to the option buyer usually. So I know
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning we talked about the same thing, but in case you just joined into the video here, I look at selling options as like you are at a casino. We were talking about gambling, obviously with Robinhood too, but like when you're in a casino, you have the house has an edge of like 5%, whatever it is, was
Mm-hmm.
is the house always making money long term. So the thing about selling options, as in like selling options most of the time, is you are in the house's seat where you're capitalizing those people who are trying to hit big, looking at those probabilities of success being like 20-15%, and you're the one
Mm-hmm.
capitalizing on that. So that's what the seller does compared to the buyer. That's how I always look at it. And to me, that's what's really helped me with like Apple Bottom just said, the probabilistic approach, put yourself in the house's edge. Like that's how you make your money and you really grow your portfolio.
That's true. That's really true. That's very true.
Love it. Yeah, I think you and I are the main ones who sell options. I
Yeah.
in one of my classes, I actually talk a lot about the 80/20, where 80% of my portfolio is dedicated towards collecting credit, and only 20% of it is dedicated towards these what we call debiting, right? Like long calls, long puts,
Yeah.
shares, leverage shares.
Mm-hmm.
So you can actually, as a retail trader, you can be on both sides. You can sell, you can be the house, sell credit into the market or collect credit in the market. Let the market pay you first before you start spending that money. And um,
Mm.
it's just so many different ways to navigate the market. There's not just one, and that's the beauty of trading. And so I hope everyone in the audience is learning a lot because there's a lot of different styles of trading here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
Mhm.
sure.
very, very true. Very true. That's one thing you always said. The market is very fruitful. You know what I mean? You got to take advantage of the fruitful opportunities you can get.
Mm.
Most definitely, most definitely. Somebody said Nvidia. I'm gonna hit the Nvidia chart real quick. We've been holding people hostage for probably about close to 2 hours, man. I'm sure between the four of us, you know, we can go all day, but we gonna go over in Nvidia. If anybody else wants
Mhm.
to give they financial aspect or data aspect on Nvidia, since earnings is around the corner, you can do that also, and we'll close it up from there. So I went ahead and pulled up Nvidia chart. Um, One thing that I did post about was if we opened up and we took out this, what was it, this 119 level here,
Mhm.
which we did, we was gonna take off. And I had posted a 127, and I know trying to make it was you was looking around the same price target too with your
Yeah, I was at
charts.
120. I was at 120. Once 120 broke, that was my signal to just, get right. And it's funny you
Facts.
mentioned 119 because once 119 hit and broke, that was a 20 MA above the 50 MA trigger on my
Yeah,
65-minute chart. So that's pretty solid.
yeah. So once I saw, because this was actually a day that the market opened, red. very red. The rest of the
Yeah.
market opened very red, and I seen Nvidia holding up rather well. So that was the early indicator pre-market that since the rest of the market was kind of dripping in red, and this was barely, I think it was at like 118 or 117 when I looked at it pre-market. Once the market opened and some of the market recovered, this was already sitting up here at 121. So I think all you guys had grabbed some calls in here, and I actually sat
Yeah.
out. I sat out because I just didn't trust the move at how weak the market was. I was actually looking for this to fill, which it never did, but you guys banked, and that's all that matters. So um, going into
We all ate as a family, man. You
oh
always
yeah,
included.
oh yeah. So definitely going into next week, we held this 128 level right here. If we
Nice.
continue with string, I'm thinking that we'll see 132, and that'll be our next, level to build above that because it's a lot of selling pressure right now below
Mhm.
142.
Yeah.
So, um, once we get there to 142, this area right here that we see, like this is gonna be this was a creation of bears and bulls mixed in this
I
price
swear,
range.
yo. That's so
So
true.
once we get up here, it's gonna be a tug of war to see if this 150 is
Hmm.
gonna be tested. So
Yep.
if we see this before earnings, 118, I definitely think that this is a level that you should start locking in and start building positions in. If we don't see that premium pop beforehand, because the week of earnings, the premiums all get jacked up pretty high. So um, if you can hold around here, I don't know if we'll get here to this 107 that we thought we might would have saw here. But if we go back and refill this level at 118, 119, I think this would be something to um, start building on. And both Fridge and ABJ probably can say that they'll probably start credit spreads around earnings. Isn't that a better way to collect money?
It really depends, man. I actually hate selling credit ahead of earnings. I actually wait till the day of, like right after earnings are done. Next day,
Uh-huh.
I'll start selling credit.
Okay.
Especially, the same thing. I want to echo what you said. Right now, with this is like the first 2 months of Trump, we really have no idea because one tweet
True.
really changes the whole tide of the market. And so, especially like selling credit into the market, it's just a little bit it's a little bit dicey. I wouldn't say it's the best thing to do. If you just want some sort of risk in the game, like you can still wait till after earnings, unless you're okay to get assigned. Like if you want those shares, then by all means.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know that also. Like, I know some people talk about like, oh, I don't have the capital to do like, oh, I can't, sell like, I don't have, $11,000 available to sell a strike against Nvidia's puts. I know there's the other way of people that do it is credit spreads where you sell a put option and then you buy the lower one and you get the spread is the difference. And that gives you that premium still. So that's like another way that people have done it where it's like a poor man's version of selling spreads. So that's a possibility people could also do. The only thing is the difference between having just selling a put and then selling a put and then buying a lower strike one is that if it goes in the money, like you're basically out your money. With selling puts, you come back with shares. So you actually get something in return for just selling just a regular put option. If you sell a spread where it's like a put, you sell and you buy a lower one, which is a whole complicated options trading to do also, there's not always like as much benefit if it goes against you in a way.
Interesting. That's a very interesting take because put credit spread, selling a put and buying a put is actually my primary strategy in the market. So
Oh, okay.
I think
Interesting.
you and I would have a great conversation about this stuff because since we're the only premium sellers in the market, I actually think it's better if you buy protection because protection is so cheap. You can also spread
Mhm.
the width very, very far, depending on what you want to do. And you can actually, with this structure, capture volatility better because of that
Interesting.
bot leg. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I'd love to go through the math with you one day. Not this time because
Yeah.
it's gonna take me hostage for like another 2 hours. But
Yeah,
yeah, you and
yeah.
I will definitely connect.
Yeah, but so I have one quick question. Do you ever leg out one position if it goes like one way against you, or do you just do you keep the whole thing, or do you get rid of one leg if needed?
No, I always keep it together. I actually,
Okay.
even when I have to roll them, so rolling, like I roll them together. It's always better to keep it into one trade. You know,
Okay.
I know a lot of traders, like even guys who do iron condors, they'll do like odd legs, legging out in and out here and there. Um, I would actually argue that that's a waste of margin capital when you start legging out separately. In my opinion, it's best to manage your portfolio in kind of like the same way you buy a single naked call. Like keep
Yeah.
the original trade, keep it together in one piece because you had a plan. You had an original plan going in with that trade. And if you start changing the different strikes and different legs, yeah, it's just a waste of capital to do that.
Yeah, yeah. I always see people that talk about like, oh, like if it starts going against me, I'll just leg out one, and then that way, if it keeps going up, it'll offset my loss or something like that. I'm just like, I feel like that just makes it more complicated to leg out one of the options essentially.
Yeah, you'll actually see dealers do that a lot. But that's specific because they need to be delta neutral, and sometimes their one leg is causing that neutrality to break.
Mhm.
Again, we'll go over this a whole nother time. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
same for me. It's got to stay together. It makes more sense to keep it together. We had a plan originally when we got into the trade, and so if that plan needs to shift, like the whole entire plan needs to shift.
Right. I love that, man. It's awesome. Yeah, if it's anything on your YouTube channel, dude, I'll be binge watching your channel like it's nothing now. I feel like if that's in there, because I would love to hear like those perspectives for sure.
I don't think that specific one is there, but I'll get it out there for sure.
Love that.
Okay. Well, I got you up trying to make it with your Nvidia chart. I gave my little outlook on it and where to buy and future outlook. So, let's see what you got.
Perfect. So I feel like, personally, going into Monday, everybody's gonna have to really pay attention to that 130 zone because after that big giant dip that we had from the Nvidia, you did have that attempt to breach that zone and break it. Obviously, it failed below the 50-day, which brought price right back down. Had another pity attempt at 127, right back down until you get that break. But then you had that resistance that, held on Wednesday, January 29th, which is revisiting us around this time. So what you want to see going into Monday, I genuinely feel personally that Nvidia is going to have maybe probably going to try to retest that 130 level, but I do feel like it'll exhaust itself out and probably try to break down a little bit going into this week because we have a lot of uncertainty in the market. We got CPI on Wednesday, so it's definitely a time. I don't think it's the time to buy into the Nvidia if you didn't get into the levels that we mentioned before, 119, 120. You buy into this level, you could end up losing money if it drops below. And if it does drop, I do feel like the perfect kind of buy zone would be around on the 4 hour chart. I know Royalty also mentioned this little gap zone right here. You kind of would want price to kind of extend itself back between at least 125, lowest being 120s. You get that support there. It'll also be a retest of the breakout of the wedge, and you will get possible continuation going into earnings. And the possibility of this pullback also, like I said, CPI and all the uncertainty that's in the market, it'll probably fuel that movement. So definitely keep an eye on that. And since Nvidia moves the market a lot, you could also expect SPY to follow suit with that analogy. So I do expect that as well. And also I would like to mention that we do have this wedge structure here, but if you do get that dip right back down in support around the 120 levels, you can get possible inverse head and shoulder right here that if it sustains itself with good volume could be a very powerful reversal move. I'm not saying it's going to come down here, but around here it could be a very powerful reversal move that hopefully through earnings could bring it past 150, 145.
I like
So that's
that.
my analogy on there.
I like that setup. I like that. I like that a lot. Well, you got two outlooks from a chart perspective. Fridge, ABJ, is anything else y'all want to add on Nvidia going into earnings?
I think if you're kind of nervous about the market, just it's okay to stay cash. I've been telling a lot of people in the quant Discord. Um, People often forget. I don't know why that is. That cash is a position. Like there's no need to
That's just
continue putting
king.
in capital into the market if you're ever unsure. You know, when we talk about the difference between retail traders like us and dealers and proprietary traders, they actually have one problem that it's a bad problem. It's that they can't be cash. So they have to take these trades. They have to put in their money, their clients' money into the market, even when they feel the trade is like 1 out of 5. And
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want any of us to put in a trade for, like, let's say Nvidia, if we're feeling 1 out of 5. Even if you think it's an opportunity, if you have FOMO after, there's always going to be another trade.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
That's
sir.
facts. That's facts.
Yeah, and I would also say, like if even if you're worried about the Nvidia trade, if you're worried about Nvidia up to earnings, you could either sit all cash, like Abelbaum just said. It is a position you could sit on it. I know I'm sitting on some cash right now just because I'm not really quite sure what the market's going to be doing. But also, if you are afraid of FOMOing out on earnings being a beat, you can deploy a little bit of cash. You don't have to full port your whole investment into it. You can deploy a little bit of cash, so that way, in case it does go down, you can kind of reduce that cost basis if you want to. So there's different ways you can definitely play it out. You can definitely allocate your cash in different ways, or you can just sit back and just wait. There's no wrong way of doing it. It's about what your risk is and what you feel like you want to do and what makes sense for you.
Facts.
If someone wants to full pour it in because they
Mm-hmm.
love it, all right, cool, man. But like for me, like if I want to get Nvidia, I might deploy, maybe like 5-10% of my cash, get a little bit of money into there, ride it up if it goes up. But if it comes down on earnings, okay, cool. I can still reduce my cost. So there's
Yeah.
definitely so many different ways you can get into Nvidia with earnings coming up.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that.
That's
I
true.
like that. Let me add on to that a little bit. So personally, I've been buying NVDL. So ticker symbol NVDL. It's the leverage share for Nvidia.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not too sure about like taking calls into Nvidia. I know again, I know I mentioned earlier that Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, and Palantir are the 4 stocks that I just refuse to short against. But every time we do come down on it, it just seems like a better value long. I'm pretty confident that in 2025 we should still see that, but I just don't want the volatility and the risk of going calls on this. Selling puts on it, credit spreads, like by all means. I think selling, if you can get away with selling below 90, which we were able to during that last dip, selling below 90, I even got sold puts at 85 even. It seemed pretty free to me because I don't see price breaking 100 with any sort of significance.
Yeah, I agree.
And then buying NVDL is probably a good idea. So I shared this in the chat earlier. I know it's not on the voice, but one of the trade structures that I really like on these big names is for Nvidia specifically, you could sell puts, like a put credit spread. So sell a put and buy a put on Nvidia. Take that credit and buy NVDL shares, right? So NVDL shares is again the leveraged product for Nvidia, and then sell calls on top of the NVDL shares. And so that way, it's not delta neutral, but you are generally long on Nvidia, but you're able to at least have a probabilistically higher chance of winning the trade because of the put credit spreads that you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Hey,
A little bit
that's.
complicated, I know.
I mean, that's why we have you, man. I'm telling you, like, I never once, said I'm the jack of all trades, which is why I try to surround myself with, intelligent traders and investors like you guys. So, um, I encourage everybody to do the same thing. And I know as me personally as a trader, when I started surrounding myself with better traders, that's when, my mindset changed and I started to grow as an individual. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely appreciate you guys sharing the knowledge that you shared, and the tricks of the trade that you guys shared tonight. Any advice for any new traders that's watching going into next week?
Mm. Honestly, I feel like volatility, just be very careful. Don't like, like Abu Bottom Jean said, cash is king. If this week you're so nervous about CPI and you don't want to really play into these events, you know, hold cash and then possibly buy the dip or possibly buy the short. It's always going to be a better opportunity. So I do definitely agree with that. And with earnings is always a gamble. I personally don't like to play earnings. Every time I do, I don't personally win. When I chart it and I don't play it, it works out. But when I actually put my money into the play, it never goes the way I want it to. Especially when the stock runs up pre-earnings, like the day of. AMD, for example, was going parabolic the day of, and then you had that giant drop. Things like that you have to, notice because they're driving the price up for a reason to dump it all on our heads. So that's my little advice for everybody in the market coming into this week.
Appreciate that. Anybody else got any advice for the traders going into the next week?
I feel like for me, like looking at this week, I mean, I know we talked about at the beginning of this live stream about all the different economic factors that could be coming in with Jerome Powell and CPI and inflation and all that stuff. And I think what I've learned the most over the years of doing this is sometimes it's hard to predict, especially with data coming out. And it's sometimes I've learned from people that it's better to react to what the market gives you. So trying to
Yeah.
predict, oh, I think CPI is going to pump this market up. I think it's going to crash this market down. It's hard. Unless you have like a magic globe and you can see in the future and see what's going to happen, this thing could go either way. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows what the market's going to do? So I've learned over the years of starting to invest in everything else is sometimes it's better to wait to see what the market does and then react to it instead of trying to get in early just in case, because that's where you could probably have more of a probability of being successful is waiting to see what the market does and then you react to it instead of just trying to full port, hope that CPI comes in great, Jerome Powell says nothing stupid, whatever it is, like it's better to react in my opinion.
Facts, facts. What about you, ABJ? What you got, man? You might have stepped away. We
Really?
can't.
Um,
Oh,
I'm actually in a lot of shares going over the weekend, but I'll have to pivot accordingly. I'm actually, with that Friday flush that happened, I still believe like we're overall long. We discussed it
sure.
earlier in terms of deltas, the one of the main metrics that I look at. All the deltas from February 21st, this OPEX, rolled into March and December. So those OPEXs are very important, obviously, because we all know, it's near the quarter end, and so yeah, I think right now for February we're just I don't think even the dealers know where we're going, and so
Right, right.
seeing that
Yeah.
deltas are still long though, I don't know if I want to take on extended risk with long hauls. I think the rest of this month is probably an opportune moment for us to collect shares, leverage
Yeah,
shares, and then collect premium by selling puts. I know it looks a little bit scary with all these crazy, like it's been an elevator down, right? Everyone's been seeing that.
right.
But during those elevator down moments, when we're looking at the data, we can still see people are willing to buy the dip. And so
Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Waiting for opportune moments to sell zero TT puts or weekly puts on SPX on underlyings like Tesla if we continue to slide. Nvidia, if we dip again, it's probably been the same thing. But yeah, I want to echo what Fridge was saying. Being reactionary is also just as good as predicting price. There's two ways to navigate the market. Great traders can, do both, and I know Royalty Trades and some of the other guys in here are able to do both. But I think understanding when to use which side of your brain, either the predictionary side or the reactionary side, is going to be very helpful. And yeah, going into this week, I'm going to be a reactive trader instead of predicting price.
facts, facts, facts.
Nice,
So,
nice. Execution time. I like that.
so as far as me, I say buy the dip. I'm with the rest of you guys. I'm with you, ABJ.
Mm-hmm.
I say any significant drop in the market should be, in my opinion, should be bought because we can all agree that stocks go up more than they go
Mm-hmm.
down.
Mm-hmm.
And right now buying at the levels that we're at, in my honest opinion, since we are in a consolidated market, we're seeing majority of the market in a stagnant way, and then we see one or two stocks at a time actually hold the market up. And right now, what we're seeing is like Meta and I would say Meta and probably Nvidia right now is kind of holding up the market. Then you have help from like, which is a small portion of the Qs, but you got Costco that's breaking $1,000, and pushing all time highs. So um, it's just put your money into companies that you feel strongly about,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where you actually make your money because you're investing in what you believe in. So
Sir.
that's just how I feel. But I want to appreciate the team for stepping out with me this afternoon and helping me out and
Thank
providing
you for having us, man.
amazing knowledge for the community and to share with the world new traders, intermediate, advanced. It's definitely a pleasure having you guys on to speak. Um, each and every time, and hopefully we can get together and do this more frequently. I know, trying to make it in Fridge, New Fish, Big Pun, and Maddie, they gonna be able to join us these upcoming weeks, and we
Mm-hmm.
get this locked in every Saturday. And ABJ, bro, you family, bro. You always welcome to come tap in with the Kingdom whenever you feel like it, man.
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you, man. That makes me feel so great. Thank you so much for the invite. It was fun. I
Yes,
hope a
sir.
lot of the audience learned a lot because
Yes, sir.
there's always so much to learn, man. I think, recognizing that, we're not like the best traders in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
We
Right,
do pretty
Um,
good. So
right. But yeah, I
I'll pat myself
appreciate you.
on the back.
What'd you say, bro?
Enough to pat ourselves on the back.
Right, right, right.
Yep.
Yeah, man. So I appreciate each and every one of y'all. I appreciate everybody that's tapped
Thank
in
you. Thank
tonight.
you.
That came and locked in with us. And yeah, man, we gonna go into Monday with a positive mindset and like each one of these people said, we're gonna be reactionary. We act once we see what the market gives us instead of trying to actually predict and make trading riskier than what it has to be. So that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna continue to promote that culture amongst the traders that interact with us also. So appreciate everybody for tapping in. It's your boy Royalty Trades, trying to make it Fridge Financials and Apple Bottom Jeans with Quant Data. Appreciate y'all. We'll catch y'all Monday. That's when I'll be back. I'm gonna take a break Sunday. I gotta rest, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
absolutely. Thank
all
you.
right,
Thank you. Thank
all
you.
right,
Thank you.
man.
Take
All right,
Appreciate
guys.
everybody for tapping in.
Thank you, everybody, for tapping in.